Back in 2017, I reviewed all 32 NFL uniforms and put them into a tier list. It went awful, teams that did basically nothing right. Bad, these are mostly unstructured designs. Close, uniforms that are good, but there's one or two major things holding them back. And then we get into good, great, grand, and wonderful.
Everybody on? Good, great, grand, wonderful. No yelling on the bus!
In my previous list, I had 4 teams in the awful category, and all 4 of those teams have realized the error in their ways and have since changed uniforms. And 0 teams from the original top 2 tiers have changed, but we've had a lot of action from everybody else. And here's my thinking when creating this system. I think ranking uniforms from 1 to 32 is just counterproductive when discussing uniforms, and it's really only created for this clickbaity style article filled with endless slides and 47% ads. It's just one random photo with a sentence next to it. No real explanation. It's the same thing as those power rankings that people really seem to care about for some reason. I don't know why we have a playoff system.
Herd hierarchy.
Time is now!
What are these sounds?
Herd hierarchy.
Time is now! Let's go!
The top 10 NFL teams according to college. Number 1.
San Francisco's going to play with its hair on fire.
So here's the criteria of the ranking. We're discussing the full uniform, not just the team colors and not just the jerseys. So many people will say things like, ugh, I hate the Seahawks uniforms. That green is gross. And you know what? That's completely fine. That's a fine opinion to have. You don't have to like the green, but that kind of just throws out all the actual design elements of the uniform and how they use those colors. I don't think this neon green is bad by itself. I just think if it's used properly, a good designer will know how to use it. Next up is player fit. Now, when discussing football uniforms, it's important to think about the body type that's going to be wearing them. And due to the extremes of player body types, football uniforms are very unique. You should be making something that looks good on a 5'9", 180-pound cornerback and a 6'5", 320-pound offensive lineman. So the best way to make a uniform that looks great for the full team and not just a select few is it should be bold, clean, and most of all, structured. And that leads us to visual clarity. You're going to be viewing these things all clumped together from a far distance most of the time. They should look great then, and they should look great close up. And these reviews are 99% based on the standard home and away uniforms. If a team has a bad alternate uniform, I'm not going to hold that against them. It should be fun. It should be changed a lot. We should be a lot more free with that one. Now, with such a subjective topic, I thought it would be a good idea to bring in a second opinion at the end of each category. Qehzy made a really awesome video redesigning every team's uniform. If you haven't seen it, there's going to be a link at the end of this video. And so many people, when making these redesigns, just go with the same blanket set of changes with no real understanding of each team's visual identity. Noah, on the other hand, took the time to understand each team's design aesthetic and try to improve them. So at the end of each category, we'll hear from him to see what he thinks of my rankings.
What's up guys, I'm Noah or Qehzy. I'm a graphic designer and web developer and a huge sports fan. I do a lot of sports apparel work as well as many passion projects, including like designing concept jerseys for different sports like soccer, football, baseball. I also have a website that sells Photoshop mockups that can be used to create your own concept sports jerseys called TemplateFC.com, which I will be using partly in this video to show off some of the designs I think can be fixed.
And finally, I understand that most of us have an emotional attachment to our team's uniforms. Why wouldn't we?
Loyalty to any one sports team is pretty hard to justify. Because the players are always changing, the team can move to another city. You're actually rooting for the clothes when you get right down to it. You know what I mean? You are standing and cheering and yelling for your clothes to beat the clothes from another city.
So sometimes this becomes a heated topic, and if you own a retail version of this jersey, it probably feels like I'm attacking you personally. I am not. Unless you're Roger Goodell. Then in that case, I am. You're a dirty little charisma vampire, and you're the worst. And if you're watching this, then thank you, and I like you, and we could have totally different opinions about what rich people wear while playing a sport with super weird rules. On to the rankings.
Open it up. You didn't want that for Christmas?
You stinking parents! Take this back!
Take it back where? This is yours.
I want a refund!
Los Angeles Rams. You guys had the easiest job of any team ever to update your uniforms. And
You blew it!
so most teams only get to wear their throwbacks or alternate jerseys at home because they're typically not white. So a team's away uniform has become a more and more important look because you're pretty much guaranteed to play 8 games in them and only around 5 or 6 in your standard home uniform. So for the LA Rams to focus so much on bringing in white into their classic blue and yellow look, then to make their away uniforms bone-colored is such an idiotic design choice. These are gonna look so bad against any team with white pants. There's no way for these not to look dull and dirty. Why would you even make this choice? What's wrong with clean, white uniform that contrasts well against your opponent? It's horrible. Even the photos are edited to make them look white. This and this look totally different. It's supposed to be the same uniform. They say this color was inspired by a ram horn and the sands of LA. Well, I grew up in LA. That's 7-year-old me in a Rams jersey and Batman shorts. Actually, what I'm wearing here is better than what the Rams came up with. Imagine, old school jersey, Batman shorts. That's all you need. So I could tell you right now that this is not the color of sand in LA. This is the color of sand in LA. It's a tan color, and even on sunny days, it's more of a warm yellow than this dull gray. It's never been bone. The next biggest offender for me is the lazy and ugly wordmark patches. On the bone uniforms, it's like a name tag that you'd wear at a conference. It's so high up and off to the side, it's awkward. Look at what the Chiefs have, and now look at the Rams. Then, on top of that, they go with this random contrasting stitching to give it this punk look, a look that they also use on the sleeve of the away uniforms. The team said the stitch is, quote, "The zigzagging signature stitch was inspired by some fashion designer's iconic mark on the clothing they create."
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
This is coming together nicely. Even on the home uniforms, they decided to make the ram horn so small that you can't fit a TV number in there. So it's just the Nike logo. The eye is drawn more to that Nike logo than the horn itself. But you know, I'm sure that wasn't done on purpose or anything. Oh, and then the gradient on the numbers and pant stripe. My lord, it's bad. It's gonna look like pee from a distance. Also, there's this current obsession with adding gradients to uniforms. It's a design aesthetic that has become very popular, and I enjoy it now, but it's clearly a design element that is very of the now, and in 3 years will probably be out of favor for a new design style. So using it on your uniform only makes your look more temporary. You have to keep these things for at least 5 years, so you should design them to look good for at least that long.
Okay, a simple wrong would have done just fine, but...
So that's a lot of hate for something that I've never even seen on the field, and I'm making this judgment based on these promo photos. But these promo photos are the equivalent of Tinder profile photos. These are the best that they are gonna look. When we meet them in person, it could be a different story. I do love the new royal blue, and I think this paint job on the helmets is beautiful. I can't wait to see it out in the sunlight. And I don't mind the new helmet logo. I think it's just something that people need time to get used to. I don't think it's better than the old one. I think it's a lateral move. But my guess is the Rams needed to do something with the horns to get them copyrighted, so other teams just can't copy them anymore. And I actually kind of like the different texture used to mimic the new ram horn logo on the numbers. I think that it's a nice touch, and it would look a lot better if they didn't already have a gradient. With the gradient, it's kind of a hat on top of a hat. I also don't hate the new Rams head logo. Some people say it looks like a penis. I think that's a stretch. Overall, it's a very, very 2020 look that won't age well, and most people would agree hasn't aged past 10 minutes. The Rams have always had the easiest uniforms to get right, and every step of the way, they've done something to screw it up. I don't know what I was expecting from a franchise who half-heartedly changed their uniforms to this monstrosity. Next up, the Arizona Cardinals. Here we are in 2020, and the Arizona Cardinals are still dressed like the dad that's come back from golfing in the year 2005. These things are the Oakley sunglasses of uniforms. Sure, it was cool for a brief period, but this one's not coming back, guys. Seriously, I want you to try to explain this uniform from memory to somebody. Okay, so the numbers are sharpish, and the jersey's red with some topographic map lines on it. Some parts are red again. Some parts are white. It's impossible. There's no structure. It's just random blocks of color and piping going all over the place. To make things even worse, they got an old school helmet with these things. A gray face mask, simple logo, and then you have pants from the early 2000s.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
And the worst part is, the Cardinals should have one of the easiest uniforms to create. You're the Cardinals. That gives you your name and what your dominant color should be. I don't know why they're so obsessed with black. How many amazing college uniforms only use one dominant color with white and maybe one small color for accents? And that's what the Cardinals need to do. Focus on the Cardinal red uniform and white. Maybe you do something that's a nod to the Arizona state flag, because that was a big part of the old uniforms, and honestly, it's one of the better state flags. You could have Wisconsin's, which looks like it's a slide at the beginning of a PowerPoint presentation about Wisconsin. The longer they wait to update these things, the worse they're gonna look. That's actually just it for the awful category. Just 2. Both these teams are here because their uniforms are atrocious, and both have had far superior looks in their library. Let's see what Noah thinks.
The Rams uniform is really close to being a great one. They nailed the helmet, and I think all the other elements are there for a great jersey. But like Bacon has said, there's a lot of things wrong with the decisions they've made, and they try to be too clever. Instead of rehashing all of Bacon's points, I just figured I'd show you how the jersey could look with this concept jersey. I kept the helmet and I kept a gradient, because if they really wanted to include the gradient, I think they should have gone from the darker yellowish orange to the brighter yellow, which is in their logo anyway. And then everything else I think should have just remained the same and similar to their previous throwback uniform. I don't think they had to do too much. And I think you always want to have as many uniform combos as possible, so go with white jersey. Don't do a stupid bone jersey. Go with white. Have white pants that you can use. You can use blue pants, you can use yellow pants with the white jersey. Just, you can have so many different color combos. I don't know the bone decision at all. I think they actually had a really good yellow color rush as well, so I don't know why they don't have a yellow jersey right now. Maybe it's coming, and they have a great color scheme. I think they really dropped the ball on this new design that they did. Also, can we talk about why they had white horns on their helmet for the last 3 or 4 years, however long ago they moved to LA? I thought that was going to be the big important decision towards their new branding. They just had an awful uniform for no reason now. As for the Cardinals, I think they just need to take a step back and go to their classic look with some modern updates. In my NFL redesign, I think I did something that is close to what they should be doing. Just a nice sort of classic look with some modern elements. But there's some weird things that they do. I don't know why they try to incorporate so much black. Just stick to the red and white. But I think they should scrap the gray face mask as well. Go with all white helmet, nice red jersey, white pants. Keep it simple, no more black accents. It's not a very good design anymore.
Now let's move on to the bad. The Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons took a big step forward by getting rid of their Arizona Cardinal 2.0 uniforms. But then they threw it all away with the Cleveland Browns 2.0 uniform. These are the uniforms that Northern Illinois University passed on. The cartoonishly stupid Mean Machine uniforms from Adam Sandler's Longest Yard are better than this. God, the Falcons are just really bad at this. They hung on to those horrible clown uniforms for way too long, and now they look like one of those NFL Halloween costumes for kids. That low matte helmet even looks like a cheap knockoff. Oh, and cool, let's add some chrome to the face mask because, yeah, that worked out so well for the Bucks. Matte helmet, chrome face mask, those are just things. Who cares if they go together? They don't. It's just something we can do. I could see the room full of old people just making decisions on this. Tell us, what are the cool kids calling Atlanta now? A-Town? Hot Atlanta? The Big Beach? The dirty dirt? Wait, don't tell me. The ATL, because the airport code. People love airport codes. Ooh, make it huge, so it's wider than a single number. Yeah, but short. Everybody likes wide and short, like me. Same logo on the sleeve as on the helmet. You guys know that these things are going to be directly next to each other. You know you have cool stripes right in your logo, and you could easily just move those to your sleeves. No, you don't notice any of these things. I could probably give a red and black FUBU jersey to them, and they wouldn't know the difference. Let me see. FUBU gradient jersey, and boom, right there. Drop shadow, dumb gradient, Atlanta. The worst thing is this thin, lame stripe down the side. It's like the Falcons saw all the dying trends and adopted them so they wouldn't become extinct. This dumb stripe is so small, there is zero possible way to have one of them actually line up like the photo. Good thing these guys don't play a contact sport where their uniform isn't constantly being pulled or grabbed. Better make the uniform only look good if players stand perfectly still in a black void. Why are these uniforms always presented in a dark stadium or a haunted house? 100% of the time, you're going to be seeing these things in broad daylight or under a million lights. How about you show them off that way? At the very least, could it be in a well-lit room and not a Transformers anus? This whole look is the worst the franchise has ever put out. If you guys like them, cool, awesome. Until then, I'm going to enjoy the Make the Throwback the Standard Home Jersey petition that you'll see online for the next few years. Next up, the Cincinnati Bengals. The only thing keeping these abominations from the awful list is their helmets. One of the best helmet designs in the league. It's imitated by a bunch of other programs, but you'll notice that other programs stop copying the design at the helmet. That's because nobody wants this. The blocks of color add nothing to the design. It seriously looks like they just ran out of material. Unstructured use of the Bengal pattern, thick number outlines, a matching drop shadow. You think you're watching a large, abnormally shaped NBA team. The B logo is way too big and right below the NFL logo, so it looks really cluttered right there, and that's before you put any patches on it. And that logo pushes the number down from the chest to the stomach a little bit, just enough to throw it off. You could have the NFL logo or the B logo. You can't have both, and guess what? You can't get rid of the NFL logo. Because without that, how would we know that this is a professional football uniform and not something from Cats? People love their all-white color rush because it takes out a lot of the complexity of the original uniform. And when your color rush jersey is better than your real jersey, then guess what? Your real jersey sucks. If you're going to use this busy Bengal pattern, you need structure and simplicity to accompany it. The Chargers are covered in lightning bolts, but you're going to see that they're much higher on this list because they keep structure and design weight in mind when they make them. The Bengals have the most potential for any team on the bottom of this list and could have one of the best looks in the league, but I guess they're content with looking like a busier version of the Cardinals.
Nothing refreshes quite like the real cola taste of Diet Coke. With 100% NutraSweet.
Hey, where's Boomer? Guys!
Next up, the Tennessee Titans. If you ever wanted to know what a CFL uniform would look like in the NFL, Titans got you covered. I'm sorry, that's not fair. The Toronto Argonauts have basically the same colors, and they're way better. The Titans have the perfect example of something that was designed by a committee. There's a ton of great ideas in here from other projects, and it's kind of just a potpourri of design. Do you want to embrace the Greek aesthetic? Awesome. Then why don't you use, I don't know, the Greek keys instead of stripes? No? You're gonna go with swords coming out of people's necks? Did adults come up with this? The biggest problem is the fact that they refuse to change their logo. The flaming thumbtack is probably the worst logo in the NFL, and that's saying a lot considering the Browns just have an orange helmet for a primary logo. The first thing people will talk about when defending the logo is about how every part represents something. But this is a sports team logo, not a family crest. It's supposed to be simple, bold, and legible from a distance. From 10 yards away, this thing looks like a deformed Viking horn. You could have something that represents a lot of different things and still have a cohesive design. Flags are a great example of this. Great flags can use simple, clean design to tell a story. Bad flags just use words and complicated crests that you can't even see. Let's take a look at the Chicago flag. Every single part of this design represents something without it being a complex mess. please hire an actual graphic designer to make your logo and stop asking your boss's kid. So the thing's already a complete mess, and then it's just exacerbated by the Navy helmets. It's a mostly Navy logo, and it's on a Navy helmet. Literally any other color choice would have been better, but they went with Navy, because there aren't already a million Navy teams. So because the logo disappears, they gotta outline it twice, so it's outlined in silver again. If you gotta put multiple outlines on a logo, then it's a mistake, Falcons. The Titans then decided that they weren't happy just having light blue, navy, and red and wanted some more, so they added 2 shades of gray to an already complex uniform. I think this sword idea would have been better if it was just executed on the sleeve cap. Having it run all the way down the shoulder looks really awkward with most numbers. Also, that thick sword really clashes with that super thin stripe that comes down on the helmet. And I'm not even at the worst part. The worst part is the armpit color blocks. They just wanted to show off that they changed the fabric underneath the player's armpits. Nike also decided that the only other red on the uniform would also just be that Nike logo. So it really sticks out. There's this weird stripe on the pants that's supposed to represent a sheath. I don't get it. You have a thin helmet stripe, thick, heavy shoulder stripe, and now a medium stripe on the leg. I don't know who's in charge here. I think that there is a lot to work with here, but if you use this logo as design inspiration, you're doomed. And a team with a new look, the New England Patriots. Woo, wow, the Patriots really just kind of mailed it in when it came to picking new uniforms, huh? My assumption is that their color rush jersey sold really well, so they thought that it was a great look, when really anything was better than this old look, so the color rush just kind of won by default. They even released photos of their new uniforms with their old color rush pants. They look awful. Why would you have a new design element like these shoulder stripes and then just not do it on the pants? But it turns out they just used the wrong pants. Going all navy blue with a silver helmet is just such a bad look for them. It's so visually heavy down below and then light up top. The very minimal use of the silver anywhere else on the uniform really leads to the helmets feeling way out of place. They would have been much better off with white helmet, white pants, navy jersey. They somehow saw what the Rams did when they moved to LA, and they thought that was a good idea. The shoulder stripes don't match the stripeless helmet. They worked on their old uniforms because they had stripe helmets, but not here. The jersey itself has 3 flying Elvis logos on it. Hey Patriots, this logo sucks. Use it less, please. They don't have TV numbers on the shoulders because they need to have that logo that already appears a foot away on their helmet for some reason. They look like a high school team that got new jerseys but kept everything else. If you replace the logo on the sleeve with numbers, add silver pants so the helmet fits, and boom, it's a lot better. Hey, what's up? I read on UniWatch while after recording this that apparently that was a look that they were presented and they said no to. So Nike actually presented them a better uniform and they said no. So anybody who's ever worked in design probably knows this feeling of you present an idea that you think is great and then it gets ruined. That might have happened here with Nike, so I am sorry for everything I said. Anyway, I think this is just a stopgap look for now. They'll probably redesign the uniform in 5 years, hopefully. And that is all for the bad uniforms. The Falcons look like they were presented something from 2013 and just now accepted it. The Titans will always be doomed with that dumb logo. The Bengals are easily fixable. And the Patriots, I don't think they care. Let's see what Noah thinks.
I applaud the Falcons for actually trying to do something really different with their uniforms. Even though it didn't turn out very good, at least they tried to do something different. Obviously the font sucks on their uniform, the drop shadow sucks, the ATL in the chest sucks. I like that the stripe is pretty unique to them, and I think they really need a red helmet. I think they need to go back to the classic red helmet. That will look better with their logo, which is majority black, and the black jersey will look good, the red jersey will look good. I like seeing a lot of different color combos for uniforms. That's my big thing. I don't know, I think they really missed something here. I think the Bengals are one step away from having really great uniforms. The big knock that Bacon has is the blocks of color on the side, which I 100% agree with. And if they just get rid of those, I think they're done. I don't think they have to do too much. I like the sleeve designs with the tiger print, and obviously I think they have the best helmet in the NFL. And obviously Bacon doesn't like the B logo in the front pushing the numbers down, so they can just move it to the side. All good. I'm not a big fan of the Titans redesign. I wasn't a fan of their old uniforms either, but I think this new uniform, the font is too thin, it looks weird. And I really wish they went with the Oilers color scheme. I want that light blue to be the main color, and just use it less navy. There's so many navy teams, we don't need navy teams. Your color scheme can't really use black, so you can use navy in that to outline things or whatever. I think the light blue helmet is the way to go. Maybe a cool stripe pattern in my redesign. Also, get rid of the flaming thumbtack logo. Just put the T with the stars on the helmet, and I think that looks great. The Patriots redesign is super lazy, I think. They basically took their color rush uniform, just made it their primaries. No other colored pants we've seen, just blue pants both ways. And I think the big fix for them is to go, one, I think they should go with the red uniform. If they don't, go with the white helmet. The white helmet will work with the new logo, maybe make the face on the logo white instead of gray. I'm also a big fan of their classic helmet stripe. I would like to see that on there again. I'm completely fine if they have an all blue option, but I don't think that should be their main look. I definitely like the silver pants, silver helmet, blue top, or gone with the white helmet. Then you can do all blue, you can do red, you can do white. You can mix and match a lot more. But I think the blue, white, red look is their best.
And that is it for part 1 of the uniform reviews. I'm working on part 2 right now. If it's done, it'll be right there. If it's not there, it'll be there in about a week. Subscribe and hit the bell to get a notification about it. And also, make sure to go check out Noah's uniform redesigns. Those are really awesome. Thanks for watching.